Finally, my Sony FX3 arrived. My first full-frame camera, and I'm so happy that I made the switch to Sony. This camera is exactly what I was looking for. Here are some of the reasons why I decided to switch to Sony and ditch Canon. Hey everyone, my name is Indira and I am a photographer and content creator from the San Francisco Bay Area. And on this channel, I do gear reviews, camera reviews, and from time to time, vlogging. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button, as it really does help the channel out. I just want to start out by saying that in the very beginning of my photography or content creation career, that I originally started or learned camera basics on the Canon D50, which couldn't even do video. And this was back in like 2018. Then a year later, I upgraded to the Canon Rebel T6i, which honestly was a fantastic camera on learning how to do photography basics and video basics. Even with the kit lens, it was still good enough, and honestly, I learned so much using that camera. And 2 years later from that, in the summer of 2020, so a year ago, I then switched to the Canon 90D, and this was a big jump for me. The Canon 90D, it had more megapixels, it had a 120 frames per second, it had digital stabilization, which for me is good enough, and it also was just a beast of a camera. It was bigger and beefier, and it just felt better in the hands, and was just really fun to use. And with all that being said, now a year later, and I officially got what I'm filming on right now, the Sony FX3, my first ever full frame camera. And before getting a full frame camera, there were some things that I needed to look at first. I did a ton of research, and I also watched, of course, a ton of YouTube videos and reviews about R6, the Canon EOS R, the Canon R5, Sony A7C. I even have tested out in the past the Fujifilm X-T4. So I know my way around different cameras and different camera brands, but there's a reason why I went with the Sony, and basically it came down to what I needed as a content creator for posting on YouTube, and soon I'm getting into doing real estate videos. Second was price, and also features. That's basically it. 3 things that came down to me choosing the Sony FX3 over the Sony a7S III and a Canon R5 or even a Canon R6. So let's get into some of those reasons right now. The first thing to consider was my needs as a content creator. This is, of course, a video camera first. It doesn't have a viewfinder, and it does have a flippy screen, but the buttons aren't really utilized for photography. They are more utilized for video-centric content creation first, and that was something that I was looking for. Now, I was looking at the Sony a7S III, which is an amazing camera, except it was lacking a couple of features that I really wanted. And one big one was the built-in fan. This camera has a built-in fan that you can actually control in the menu system of whether you want to have it on all the time or on only when you're filming. And basically what that means is that you can film for hours and hours and hours in 4K, like the highest quality 4K, and it will not overheat. And I love that. I just needed something that was reliable. If I'm out, let's say I'm doing a vlog, or in California, right now in the summer it can get pretty hot. I just wanted something that was reliable, that had that fan, and that was built for video. And that's exactly what this camera does for me. Another reason why I went with the Sony brand was that it doesn't have any record limit. So I can record for hours and hours, basically until either the battery gives out, if I'm not charging this externally with a external battery pack, which I have done and it works great, or if my SD cards or my CF Express cards fill up, which it would take a lot of video, like hours and hours of me filming in the highest quality setting for my cards to fill up. So to not have that record limit and just being able to talk like this in front of the camera and not have to worry about the 30-minute record limit and then, oh, okay, it's 30 minutes, now I have to press the record button again, and just having everything in one file like this and just making it easier to use is something that I was really looking at. Along with the no record limit, this camera has tally lights. So it has tally lights in the back, on the front, and if I look to my right or left, I can see that I am in fact recording because it has a huge red box around the LCD screen. And so it's very, very apparent that you are in fact recording. And I really like that feature. I find that if Canon implemented this, I might have gone to Canon even with their limitations. I also like the different codecs that this camera has. Right now I'm filming in almost highest quality 4K. I still make proxies, which I'm just used to making, and honestly it doesn't take that long. But it is so smooth for the most part editing this 4K footage. It's just very easy to edit. I have an M1 MacBook Pro and I find that it just works really well. Even in the Premiere Pro beta version, it works very well. And I like that the codecs you can actually use and not have to worry about your computer crashing all the time. With the heavy price tag, there are features that are worth noting. The type of CF Express card that this takes is a CF Express Type A card, and literally only Sony has that type of CF Express card. So while they are extremely expensive, you are literally getting the highest quality CF Express card that you can, and it shows. If you spend the money and you invest in the system, you will get the highest quality video and photos possible. And that definitely shows with Sony. Now, the biggest reason why I went with Sony is that they just give you all the features up front. Yes, you are paying a premium price, not just on the battery, but on the CF Express cards and just like everything. But it works, it's future-proof, and they give you all the features. And I hate that Canon doesn't do that. If they made the R6 like this camera, and even if they charged like $3,500 for that camera, but they put in all the features of this camera, I would have gotten that. I would have stuck with Canon, but they didn't do that, and it's so frustrating. I was considering getting the EOS R, but even that camera, right, brand new or even refurbished, is like $1,600, which, yes, it is full frame, but it can't even do 4K video. It crops in a ton. Basically, you are a slave to 1080p video, and I wanted something that could do higher quality. Just the price that you're paying, it seems like they're always holding something back. Even on my Canon 90D, that body only is around like $1,300. They still don't give you 120 frames per second with autofocus, and that's something that just bugs me so much. Like, I don't know why they never implemented that in a software update years later. Like, you are paying a premium price, but you don't get all the features, and that really bothers me with Canon. So I said, you know what? I want to go all in. I want to take this seriously. I want to get the best quality video. And so let me go with the Sony FX3, and that's exactly what I did. And I'm honestly so happy that I got this camera. It looks amazing. The video footage is so good. The 4K slow motion, just everything about this camera is so much fun and easy to use, and I really appreciate that Sony does that. But yeah, that is why I switched over to Sony, and I will be making more videos on the Sony FX3. The next video that I will be making are the best accessories for this camera and accessories that you need if you're purchasing this type of camera. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure to follow me on Instagram, and yeah, make sure to follow the channel too, making some really cool content. With all that being said, thank you for being here, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.